So you have quite an experience when it comes to investing in tokens. I would like to hear your perspective on this, the investment landscape for tokens generally, and to what extent do you think that there is room for growth?
I think we're just coming out of an incredibly bearish type of scenario in the past couple of years. And really, like all bears who wake up from hibernation, I think it's going to be an incredible spring. What we really have coming up is a confluence of very different aspects, from the kind of upcoming election to massive institutional adoption coming from many of the major enterprise and institutions, financial institutions like BlackRock and others, Fidelity, who are really validating the space. So with all of these factors, I think we're in for a really, really incredible Bitcoin and crypto season.
And within the crypto ecosystem or token ecosystem, JeHan, as an investor, what are some of the verticals or projects that you're kind of focused on that you particularly like, that you think our users should be aware of?
Well, as a family office, our business is really investing. And because we invest our own money, our money is always where our mouth is. For me, I have three really key projects that I think are my holy trinity for the next cycle. And I'll give you, my kind of inside information. For me, one of the most important ones is actually related to Dubai itself, which is TON. And TON, as you may know, is Telegram's blockchain. And when you have 950 million users with one of the largest messaging apps in the world, and you put a blockchain on it and a crypto on top of that, you really can't lose, in the sense that people will use it. People will find ways to have applications, real utility applications. I've seen dating, I've seen games, I've seen messaging, I've seen incentives. It's an incredible ecosystem that is all being powered by Web3 on top of a very traditional and massively successful messaging platform. That's number one. Number two is one of the most ambitious and what I think is one of the holy grails of Web3, which is cracking identity. If you can solve identity, who is someone on the blockchain, who's authoring information, in the age of AI, identity is incredibly important. Deep fakes, all this type of data. And World, formerly called WorldCoin, which is co-founded by Sam Altman, yes, that OpenAI Sam Altman, World is one of the most interesting and I think going to be impactful blockchains that's being developed to actually solve the problem of identity authentication. And then finally, one of my favorite ones is Mythical Games. And this is really, kind of one of these outliers. Mythical Games has a game platform, and what they do is they published a game called NFL Rivals, which is the, most popular NFL football game after John Madden on the App Store. They're going to be launching a new game, which I can't say what it is, but it's a massive sports association. And I'm really excited about that because it's going to be bringing gaming to the masses. And the cool thing is they don't even know it's Web3. So that these massive audiences, these really Web 2 types of businesses, all being empowered by blockchain, Web3, and crypto, that's where my heart is.
And when you look at AI, you just mentioned AI, and we're seeing this hype around AI globally since the start of the year. To what extent do you think that AI will intersect with crypto and with blockchain and with Web3 as well?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think without blockchain, AI really lacks the ability to validate a lot of itself in incentivized manners. So we've invested in, I think, maybe 6 or 7 AI crypto plays. One of the most popular ones is called Render Network. And Render is decentralized 3D graphics processing. It's simply a way to decentralize all of the resources which go into processing 3D graphics. And doing it in a way where an everyday person sleeping with their little gaming machine can actually earn money by providing computing power to the network. That's just one example. But we've also seen other companies like LayerLens, which is actually creating benchmarks, like all these models that are coming out in AI. How do you really judge whether or not they're effective, whether they're validated, whether the information that they're creating actually is doing what it says it does? You need benchmarking for that. But benchmarking has been really the kind of domain of universities. But all the university talent for AI is being sucked away by the largest kind of Google and Microsoft and OpenAI. So this is a way to actually have all of these different types of AI and ML specialists putting their own models up and creating a more of an equal type of footing for benchmark creating.
Very interesting. And I want to ask you also about meme coins. So, obviously, as an investor, how do you look at meme coins? Do you look at them as there's actually fundamental value, or as basically pure gambling for what the retail market is playing?
If I ever invest in a meme coin, and I have, you should sell it immediately. I am what's called a top indicator. I'm terrible at investing in meme coins. But part of that is because I fundamentally don't believe, and really there is no fundamental value to meme coins. It's literally a coin which its basis is an idea. That's not to say it's bad. It's just to say that it has no fundamental value. So for me, I'm more of a fundamental investor. I'm looking for utility. I'm looking for business cases. I'm looking for things like, I don't know, revenue. And meme coins have none of that. I think meme coins are gambling. But gambling is legal. And there's no kind of judgment against gambling for most of the world, and that's fine. But you have to go in eyes wide open. You have to be going in willing to lose 95% of the time. And if you're okay to just try and win that 5%, God bless you.
So as an investor, I think many of our audience would like to know to which kind of products and projects you are mostly bullish today.
Well, other than the three that I mentioned, one of the things that I think is really fundamentally useful to society, it's not a crypto project, but it is a blockchain and Web3 product. One of our companies called BSN, they have created China's real DID system. So again, we go back to this idea of what are the problems in society? What are the problems in today's kind of digital age? Identity. How do you really identify somebody now that we have this vast internet surface? And what they've done is they've actually created a system which is used by the Public Security Bureau, like one of the most powerful bureaus in China. And they've created a real DID system where Chinese citizens can actually verify their ID for things like KYC, banking applications, but even very kind of mundane situations like, maybe it's a dating app that actually wants to verify that the person is on the other end is not like some type of scammer. So these types of things I think I'm excited about because we need real utility and real value that solves real problems that people will pay real money for.
It's very, very interesting on that point. Talk about China and Asia. I mean, what's your view on what's happening in the crypto scene in Asia? Now that obviously we're here in Dubai today, I know you spent many years in Hong Kong. How do you see the Asian ecosystem evolve? And what's your view on Middle East relate to that? Having lived in Hong Kong for over 15 years and now being a little bit more outside of it, my perspective, I think, is really, a breath of fresh air that Hong Kong has been much more of a leader than I expected it to be in the last year and a half.
In what sense?
Their openness, the government's openness to try and create space for exchanges, to create space and support for companies, and not only that, to be vocal about it. And I think that this doesn't come in isolation. The Hong Kong government, I think, generally doesn't do things without the watchful eye of China, which makes sense. Because it's part of China. So I think it's very good that China is maybe signaling some gradual openness to the crypto space, at least the Web3 space, via Hong Kong. And maybe Hong Kong is the ultimate sandbox for like the largest potential crypto market in the world to gradually reopen.
These are very interesting ideas.
Something to watch, huh?
Yeah, a lot of news that we should be watching next.
Thank you very much, JeHan. Thanks for being with us. JeHan Chu, founder of Kinetic. Thank you very much for being with us on Crypto Weekly.
Thank you.